This is Valley View News.
Marches are taking place all over the nation in memory of Trayvon Martin, a teenager killed in a controversial shooting. Drivers may have to give up using devices like Bluetooth while in a car. A popular LA bus route will be cut, leaving riders to find another way to travel.
Welcome to Valley View News. I'm Keandra Stevenson.
And I'm Michael Gumberg. Worshippers in some cities wore hoodies to church to honor the Florida teenager who was killed by a neighborhood watch volunteer. The Trayvon Martin case has started a national debate over the Florida law and racial profiling. The African-American 17-year-old was wearing a hoodie when he was shot February 26th. Authorities say George Zimmerman said he shot Martin in self-defense. Zimmerman's attorney says Florida's Stand Your Ground law applies to the situation and that his client is innocent. The law allows people to use deadly force anytime they feel reasonable fear that someone will seriously harm them or others. Zimmerman has not been charged in the case.
An out-of-control car struck 3 people at an El Monte bus stop, killing an 18-month-old baby. El Monte police say the driver was trying to park in a Walgreens lot and accidentally hit the accelerator. The car ran into a bus bench where the 3 victims were waiting. One victim was taken to a hospital in critical condition. The other victim was hurt, but was listed in good condition.
Most of us have seen a driver talking on their cell phone or even texting. That behavior is against the law. But soon, even using hands-free devices will be illegal while driving. Cherish Holland has the details.
The Department of Transportation is seeking to remove hands-free devices behind the wheel because of distracted drivers. Recent reports show that there are 500,000 injuries and 6,000 deaths a year because people are distracted while driving. Alicia Hollins would like to see the proposition passed.
A few months ago, I was hit by a car, and so I think that it's a very good idea because it is a distraction.
But others may not agree.
Emergency happens with your child at school, and they're trying to reach you, but you can't answer your phone because this law says that you can't answer your phone in cars, even though you already have a hands-free device. You have the Bluetooth built into your car.
An officer was out promoting safe driving and says talking on the phone is not the only issue. Texting is the most dangerous thing to do while behind the wheel.
Cognitively, you're not there. You're thinking about what you're texting. Visually, you're not there. You're looking down at the keys in which you're texting. Then physically, you're not there because you have both hands texting, hitting the keys.
The Department of Transportation found that GPS systems are starting to be a hazard. Officer Baldonado says if not used properly, it can be as dangerous as texting. Vehicles are now turning more to technology, which increases the chances of being easily distracted. This can ultimately lead to taking a life. But hands-free devices, texting, and GPS systems are not the only worry the department has. Now they're finding that people are Facebooking on their cell phones while behind the wheel. People are updating their status or reading their friends' posts while driving.
We definitely do see a rise in technology, and a lot of younger folks are doing this in a way of connecting with people. And whatever happened to seeing someone in person?
This adds another electronic factor, which can increase the chances of a car accident. The increase of technology is inevitable. So while the Department of Transportation come up with ways to decrease the number of distracted drivers, people should pay more attention to the road.
Slow down. Being behind the wheel, driving is a privilege. It's not a right. It can easily be taken away.
In Pasadena, I'm Cherish Holland for Valley View News.
A new Los Angeles rail line will open to the public on April 28th. The Expo line is an 8-mile stretch between downtown LA and Culver City. LA County officials say it took a long time to finish it because there were many complications during the planning of the project. The line is expected to carry 27,000 passengers a day. The second phase of the rail line will be completed in 2015, extending the route from LA to Santa Monica.
LA Metro will cut a route that many people say they rely on to get to work. The loss of bus line 305 will leave many having to replan their work schedules to match new bus routes. Many Metro transit lines are being eliminated because of budget cuts. Tanya De La Pena has more on the story.
Metro bus line 305 will be closing soon. It's the only bus line that's a straight shot from South LA to Westwood. That's bad news for Irma Gorosino, a CSUN student and UCLA lifeguard. She relies on this bus route to get to work.
I have to coordinate my work schedule with my bus schedule, so I'm up really early as it is. And now with these alternate routes, my commute is just going to be even longer to get to work.
Many LA voters will remember Measure R, a ballot passed in 2008 where 2/3 majority voted to commit $40 billion to traffic relief and transportation upgrades in rail and bus systems. It's not only adding transportation, but cutting ones like the 305 to create new ones. Many LA passengers, buses, and bus drivers come and go from Union Station. One bus driver who didn't want to appear on camera doesn't approve and has her own opinion. She told Valley View News, "I don't understand why so many lines are being cut if Measure R is supposed to provide more funding for transportation projects." MTA officials based in Union Station say they need to save money somehow.
We eliminated 20% of our non-contract workforce, and we have not had any kind of pay adjustment in 3 years. We're cutting back administrative expenses, cutting back on our costs, but at the same time we have to operate more prudently.
Littman says 11 other bus lines will cut their weekend service, saving $23 million a year. 305 riders are against the cut because it will create a time doubling effect, making their ride much longer and more expensive, forcing people like Irma the lifeguard to find another way to work. In Los Angeles, I'm Tawny Ann De La Pena for Valley View News.
California State University officials say they will freeze enrollment for the spring 2013 semester. They will also place applicants on a waiting list for fall 2013. This is necessary because no one knows if a proposed tax initiative will pass in the November election. If it fails, the university will have to cut another $200 million from its budget. If that happens, officials may have to increase tuition for undergraduates to almost $6,000 per semester.
After a 3-month search, Cal State Northridge has named a new university president. Diane Harrison takes office at CSUN in June. She comes to Northridge from Cal State Monterey Bay, where she has been president for the last 6 years. Harrison spent 30 years on the campus of Florida State as a faculty member and dean. She will take over for Jolene Kester, the CSUN president for the last 11 years.
Anorexia and bulimia are two of the most commonly known eating disorders. For as many as 11 million people in the U.S., eating disorders are a devastating reality. Each year, CSUN hosts a week-long event dedicated to raising awareness. Reporter Cassandra Gaskin has the story.
Green is the theme for a week-long event on CSUN's campus. Joint Advocates on Disordered Eating, JADE, celebrates every body, raising awareness for all types of eating disorders. Students gather at the Matador Walkway, visiting different booths, sending a message that help is available for those in need. Leanne Vincent suffers from compulsive eating and shares her message.
Daring to talk to even one person makes the difference. This disease wants to keep us alone. It's us with the way that we abuse the food. Eating disorders want to keep us by ourselves and abusing. So if you tell even one person and will make one tiny step out for help, your life will change.
The booths featured ways to spread the word about eating disorders, including how the media can give off negative messages about body image. Jade's only male member, Freddie, suffered from anorexia and explains the essence of the organization.
Yeah, they're not alone. It's just, there's this whole feeling when you have it that it's just something you keep quiet. But it's like when you come to this kind of environment, you realize that there's so many more people in the same kind of situation. And it just takes a lot of bravery to come forward.
America's Next Top Model winner Whitney Thompson came to CSUN during Eating Disorder Awareness Week to help students learn about maintaining a healthy body image.
I always hope to bring a sense of reality to the students, to make them understand what the media really is putting out there and what we are looking at thinking like, oh, this is what beautiful is, when realistically it's airbrushed or the girls are underweight or they're underage, and that's what we're told is beautiful.
Students listened to her presentation in the Grand Salon about breaking down the barriers of the media's misrepresentation of an average woman. Her hour-long speech was followed by a meet and greet with more information on how CSUN students can get involved with JADE and help make a difference. In Northridge, I'm Cassandra Gaskin, Valley View News.
People on the CSUN campus now have a new and convenient way to get more fruits and veggies into their diet. Diane Escalona has the story.
Locally grown produce is delivered to CSUN every week. I went to the family farm in Moore Park to check out where the produce comes from. If you are a CSUN student, staff, or faculty member, you can receive seasonal produce weekly for $19 for a small box. It is part of the Underwood Family Farm's Community Supported Agriculture, or CSA program. The produce is grown locally at the Underwood Farm in Moore Park. Farm owner Craig Underwood talks about their affiliation with the program.
We deliver a box of seasonal produce every week, and we choose what it is because it depends on what's in season. And the subscribers pay a month or a quarter or half a year in advance, and then we deliver to a central location and people pick up from there.
The deliveries are every Tuesday from 3 to 6 p.m. and can be picked up behind the CSUN bookstore. One of the program interns, Susie Wilson, talks about the difference between the small and large boxes of produce.
The small box is $19 and it could feed a family of 2 for about a week. And a large box is $23 and could feed a family of 4.
The project manager at the Marilyn Magrum Center at CSUN, Jenna Jackson, is in charge of the CSA program.
With the CSA members we have, they love it. Like some of them have been doing it since it started in July 2010, and they always say it's like Christmas. Like they get there, they're like, what's in my box this week? And they get so excited, and I think it's just really fun to see that.
A few of them talk about their different reasons for joining the program.
I was concerned about my diet and getting enough fresh vegetables and fruits, and this has turned out to work out great.
I like fresh vegetables and fruits, and I think this is a great idea. Right from the farm to us.
Buying local increases accessibility of certain fruits and vegetables. It also increases the variety of what you're buying, whereas at the grocery store you're very limited.
All active CSA members get free admission to the farms for the length of their membership. Weekend admission also includes a tractor-drawn wagon ride around the farm. You can also come here and pick your own berries, like these strawberries. More information about the program is on the Family and Consumer Sciences page on the CSUN website. Back to you.
Some community centers in the San Fernando Valley are shutting down because they've run out of money. One of them is the last Jewish community center in the San Fernando Valley. Reporter Michael Gumberg has the story.
These halls, which are usually filled with people on their way to exercise or meet with friends, are now empty. Plaques and trophies of great achievements by Jewish athletes are gathering dust. After 42 years of providing a fun, safe haven for its Jewish neighbors, the Jewish Community Center on the Milken campus in West Hills is being forced to shut its door because of economic struggles.
It's a home away from home, and I've been working here for a long time. As I said, just when I came from Russia, it was my home.
The board of directors sent out a newsletter to all members of the center to announce that the JCC will be shutting down on June 30th. JCC Program Director Marlene Edenson has had to turn away people looking to join the JCC.
30th, the JCC will not be here anymore. So at this time, we are not offering trial memberships.
The JCC houses a weekday preschool program where over 70 families have been bringing their children for generations. Many senior members come to use the fitness center and participate in game groups in which they have made many friends who they fear they will lose contact with after the JCC shuts down. The Milken Campus JCC is the last Jewish community center in the Valley, and for many, it's been like a second home.
After so many years, you get very attached to the people who are here, who are working, and also the people, wonderful elderly people here.
The community center will be replaced by a new Jewish community high school after the campus undergoes remodeling for the incoming students. This playground equipment and the preschool classrooms that were once filled with children will be taken down to make room for the high school students moving in next year. In West Hills, I'm Michael Gumberg, Valley View News. Coming up, President Obama's healthcare law goes to the Supreme Court, and a movie based on a popular novel was a box office hit.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Williams. What do you have for me this time?
My husband and my son.
That will do nicely. What will you bring me next time?
My life.
It never ceases to amaze me what people will give up for a drink.
Welcome to Fogel's.
Beautiful, isn't it?
You expect options everywhere else. Why not with your medical treatment? Talk with your doctor to explore all your options and find what's right for you. Visit ahrq.gov.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to energy-saving bulbs. Saving energy saves you money.
President Obama's health care law has gone before the U.S. Supreme Court. Justices will debate whether Congress has the authority to make people purchase health care. The court is deciding whether the proposed penalty for not buying health insurance amounts to a tax. If the court rules yes, justices have to wait until the penalty goes into effect in 2014 before ruling on other aspects of the new law. The ruling is expected by the end of June.
Rick Santorum won the Louisiana primary, narrowing the gap between him and Mitt Romney. That gave Santorum 271 delegates. Romney remains well ahead with 563 delegates. Newt Gingrich and Ron Paul picked up 3rd and 4th place in the primary. The next elections will take place April 3rd in Wisconsin, Maryland, and Washington, D.C.
The U.S. paid almost $1 million to families of people killed or wounded in a shooting in Afghanistan. Payments ranged from $10,000 to $50,000 per family. U.S. Army Sergeant Robert Bales is accused of killing 17 civilians, many of them children. He could face the death penalty if convicted. Officials say the money is not compensation, it's an offer to help the victims and their families.
President Barack Obama urged leaders in North Korea and Iran to end their nuclear weapon program. The president visits Seoul for a nuclear terrorism summit. The administration has been working on a deal with North Korea to provide food in return for an end of some parts of their nuclear program. North Korea appears to be charging ahead with plans to launch a rocket in honor of the country's former leader, Kim Il-sung. The U.S. says the launch will violate the deal.
Pope Benedict XVI met with some relatives of people killed or missing in Mexico's bloody drug war. The pontiff first met with Mexican President Felipe Calderón. The president introduced the Pope to 8 people who had lost loved ones due to senseless violence. More than 50,000 people have been killed since Calderón launched an offensive against the drug cartels.
Here's the scoop.
Hunger Games won big at the box office, and Kim Kardashian was flower bombed. Here's Regina On with entertainment news.
The Hunger Games took over the box office, generating $214 million worldwide its opening weekend.
Make sure they remember you.
It's the 3rd highest opening weekend ever, following Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 and The Dark Knight. It is the first blockbuster hit for production company Lionsgate. The action-filled drama about survival is based on the first of 3 best-selling young adult novels by Suzanne Collins. Reality star Kim Kardashian says she plans to press charges against a woman who threw a large bag of white powder over her head. Sources say Kardashian feels a woman should be held accountable for her actions. Kardashian was walking the red carpet for the launch of her new perfume, True Reflection, when the incident occurred. Los Angeles County coroners are confirming that heart complications and the use of cocaine contributed to the death of Whitney Houston. Chief Coroner Craig Harvey says the singer used cocaine just before she collapsed in her hotel bathtub. Other drugs were listed in the toxicology report, but coroners say they did not contribute directly to her death. They give the official cause as an accidental drowning. This week in celebrity baby news, Oscar winner Reese Witherspoon is expecting. This will be her 3rd child and the first with agent husband Jim Toth. Tori Spelling announced she's pregnant with baby number 4, just a short 5 months after having her 3rd child. Hilary Duff gave birth to a baby boy. This is her first child for Hilary and her hockey-playing husband Mike. Jessica Simpson is still awaiting the birth of her daughter Maxwell. Despite her super-sized stomach, she says the baby isn't coming quite yet. Now back to you, Michael.
It is never too early to learn skills in the kitchen. A Santa Clarita Valley Elementary School class participated in a youth cooking event. Valley View's Marco Morfino has more on the story.
Kids from North Lake Hills Elementary are singing a famous song by Dean Martin in honor of their homemade feast. They planned and cooked an Italian-themed meal for their families at the Santa Clarita Valley Children's Cooking Campaign.
It's fun cooking here because they actually let you
actually chop stuff.
And they designed everything from what we were going to eat to the theme, and they made all of the decorations.
The class was broken up into cooking stations to show the students that cooking is fun and easy to do.
Teaching us how to make different foods and that you can do it at home, and it's really fun.
The first station prepared a healthy fruit kebab platter. There was a station making bruschetta with the children chopping tomatoes and onions, getting hands-on experience.
It's fun because you get to do it with your class and your friends.
Another group focused on cooking the meatballs for the spaghetti and then left the finished product to bake in the oven. The students cut up cucumbers and worked as a team to toss the salad before lunchtime. Finally, to end a long morning of cooking in the kitchen, the kids enjoyed a nice meal with family and friends.
Here at the Santa Clarita Valley Food Service Agency, kids will learn valuable cooking skills that will help them in the future. Reporting in Valencia, Marco Morfino, Valley View News.
Coming up, a preview of the NBA Finals could be as the Thunder took on the Heat. And Facebook speaks out about employers asking for workers' passwords.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
How you feel? How you feel?
I'm feeling good. Spin me, spin me.
Gotcha.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
Lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children today. If your home was built before 1978, call or log on.
2 NBA title favorites went head-to-head. Here's Eldrick Bone with sports.
Thanks, Mike. The Oklahoma City Thunder took on the Miami Heat. Those are the two teams many fans think will face each other for the title. The Thunder took the lead for good in the first 4 minutes of the second quarter. Kevin Durant was left to orchestrate most of the offense before the half, as Russell Westbrook was benched on his third foul. The Heat made a brief 8-0 comeback spurt, but that was shut down by Kendrick Perkins, who had a two-handed jam that left him hanging on Dwayne Wade. OKC took over from there to win 107-83. Kevin Durant finished with 28 points. D. Wade finished with 22. The LA Lakers took on the Memphis Grizzlies at the Staples Center. Grizzlies took over the game early, leaving it up to Kobe to do work. And do work he did as he brought the Lakers within 1 in the third quarter. But Kobe's 18 points were not enough to win. The Grizzlies took advantage of the holes in the Lakers' D. Kobe sat out the last 5 minutes of the game, and the Lakers lost 102-96. Andrew Bynum led all scorers with 30 points. O.J. Mayo finished with 18 points. 7 Memphis players scored in double figures. I hope you're sitting down somewhere comfortably if you're watching the Utah Jazz and Atlanta Hawks game. They went the distance and then some. Both teams headed to overtime not once, not twice, not even 3 times. It took quadruple overtime to find a winner in this game. This is the first quadruple overtime game since 1997. Devin Harris and Paul Millsap both had opportunities to have a game-winning shot for Utah in the second and third overtimes. But it was Joe Johnson who scored 8 points in overtime for the Hawks to win 139-137. Tiger Woods has won a PGA tournament for the first time since 2009. Tiger won the Arnold Palmer Invitational by 5 shots over Graham McDowell. This marks his 72nd PGA Tour victory. Woods has been plagued by injury and scandal since his last win in September 2009. Woods shot 2 over 70, Woods is now the favorite to win the Masters tournament in April. Golf legend Arnold Palmer was hospitalized because of high blood pressure. The 82-year-old left his own tournament after a doctor advised him to do so. Palmer was held overnight as a precaution, and he has since been released from the hospital. This was the first time in the tournament's 34-year history that Palmer missed an awards ceremony. The month-long dance continues as the NCAA South Regional Final paired Kentucky against Baylor. Kentucky is the overall #1 seed in the tournament, and they showed why against Baylor. The Wildcats pulled away early, scoring 10 straight field goals and led 20 at the half. The Bears just never recovered. Kentucky will advance to the semifinals for the second year in a row. Freshmen Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and Anthony Davis scored a combined 37 points in the 82-70 win. #2 seed Kansas took on top seed University of North Carolina. Tyshawn Taylor has been struggling in the tournament. He is only averaging 11.5 points per game, but he found his stride against UNC. Taylor scored 22 points against the Tar Heels on many breakaways. The Jayhawks advanced to the Final Four for the first time since winning it all in 2008. And with that, the Final Four in New Orleans has been set. In one national semifinal, in-state rivals Kentucky and Louisville will face off. That means Louisville coach Rick Pitino will go against a team that he used to coach. And in the other matchup, Ohio State will meet Kansas. Both semifinals are rematches of games from earlier in the year. Quarterback Tim Tebow held his first news conference as a New York Jet. He spoke for over 30 minutes to the New York media. It was a big deal, even though he's a backup quarterback to Mark Sanchez. Tebow says they can work together on the same team. The former Broncos starter was traded to the Jets last week after Denver signed Peyton Manning. Tebow is expecting to receive around 20 snaps per game as a Jet. Saints head coach Sean Payton has asked Bill Parcells if he wants to take over as the Saints interim coach. The NFL suspended Payton because of his involvement with the team's bounty program. Parcells said that the Saints have not contacted him, but he says he has had conversations with Payton. Now, back to Keandra with more news.
West Covina police say 2 men dressed as ninjas robbed a man delivering medical marijuana. The victim told police that the 2 men jumped out of some bushes as he was heading back to his car after delivery. The men reportedly chased down the victim until he dropped a bag containing unknown amounts of marijuana and money.
Facebook is speaking out against employers who are asking for passwords. The social media site says employers that ask for workers' and job applicants' passwords could be violating employment laws. Reports of job candidates being asked for their passwords have increased over the last few months. The site warns users not to share passwords with anyone. Facebook may consider going to court if it hears of the practice continuing.
There are now smartphone applications that help to lift a person's mood. Many of them are free and can be found at Apple's App Store and Microsoft's Windows Phone Marketplace. Some examples are Mood Swing, Moody Me, and Mood Panda. These require users to record their mood periodically throughout the day. The app organizes the information and presents it in charts and graphs to show the users when, where, and with whom their mood changes. I'm Keandra Stevenson.
And I'm Michael Gumberg. From all of us here at Valley View News, have a great day.